Hi, buddy. Senior scientist here. Just wanted to take a look at this thing and see if we seen a pattern similar to what we're in right now. And of course, we have a lot of fear out there and a lot of drops. And I'm looking at missed a million. Things could go down to $100, which maybe it's all possible. I don't know. But I'm just looking at the pattern. Have we seen something like this? And what's interesting is that when we kind of look at this pattern, how well let's look back here, and this was in June of, what was that, 2021 maybe? I don't remember. Two? Man, this is when I got into it. Crazy. Anyway, it's when we were down at $100. See it right there? So we had that. So if you kind of look at some of the features here, we have some accumulation, a little bit of a drop there, and then we come up, have our big dip. And I think we're like, similar pattern, and we'd be right about here in this. Okay, so where would that put us? Again, that's like somewhere around here, maybe, possibly coming up around here. So I think our low is in. If this is the case, that'd be the spring, and we're coming out of it, and we're gonna build some strength, and then that's when we had this monster pump. And I thought we were there last time we dropped. Kind of looked like it was mimicking it, and then we dropped again. So that's always possible. This thing is like faked us out so many times already. But I'm just looking at this thing, and again, we kind of have that drop already coming in, and so you can kind of see this is that pattern here. Let me pull it up here. Oops. What just happened here? Where'd it go? Oh, this is where we're at now, huh? Okay. Yeah, so we've already kind of had this drop, and we're below the trading region, so to speak. And it looks like even Bitcoin and the rest of them are kind of repeating what they did in 2020. Very similar patterns. So I'm just looking at it from Wyckoff's perspective too. Like, why would we go down? Why would we go down here? All the way down. We could, I guess, when we're looking at the weekly, the ABC. But I think maybe we have an A, B, C. Came up kind of a D. And, if we're looking at Elliott wave, I just see that we're in this correction here on the D wave, or making our E leg, and it almost looks like A, B, and we just completed the C. So that means we could come out and be done with that E leg. You can see how it touches there, right here, and then we actually have our first touch right here for the A, B. We need another touch. We came back down and we just touched that line. C leg right there. See that? See how it just touched? So I think we could be done with that ABC correction there on the E leg. So if we're following Missed a Million, for example, which I think he is great analysis, I just don't know if we're going to come all the way down to that $100 mark. I imagine that's what a lot of people thought before in other patterns and everything else, and then it just doesn't do that. So I think we're beyond that. I think we're doing Wyckoff in addition to everything. So anyway, just wanted to bring up the 4 hourly, that if we are indeed in that similar pattern finally again, which I thought we were before, if you look at my videos, and that was like several weeks ago. If that is that drop, I'm always looking at drops, and then okay, how does that line up? Which is funny because the RSI and the MACD almost seem to line up a little bit as well. When we look at this, see how we just have that. We have a drop here, then we kind of go up right there, Then we get this bigger drop in the red. Okay. Then we look back at other spring tests. Hit a drop. Gonna go up. Gonna go up there. And a bigger drop in the red. That was this drop. And then we started coming out of it. We crossed over. So I think this is kind of where we're at. You know, somewhere here or here. You know, I'm not sure on all the small scale, but if that is, you know, that's about a 10-day period until we see that big pump. You know, this is about 10 days there. So maybe that's what we're working through with all the tariffs and stuff. I mean, imagine, like, as soon as these things ease, which they will, obviously, right? It's a negotiating tool. I mean, the other countries are just getting buried right now, right? Look at their economy. It's just being wiped out. They can't sustain that. And so this is a good thing, I think, all around. And as soon as those things ease, man, I mean, boom, it's off to the races. So, I mean, 10 days seems like a pretty good length of time, maybe a week. So we might be really, really close. The thing I'm looking at, I don't think we're going to go below that low that we just set, this one. I'm going to watch that. Do we get anywhere near that low? Because here, you know, let's just pretend this is our low right there. Okay, so instead of that long wick, you know, it came down, kind of threatened a few times, but it didn't get down there. And so watching even where we're at right now, looks like it's kind of coming up a little bit there. So that's one thing I'll be watching. And then, you know, we should start putting in some higher lows. I want to see those start ascending because they've been descending here. And so I'd like to see them start ascending. If we could start seeing them ascending, I think we're off to the races, man. I think we're good then. So that's what I'll be looking for. All right, peace.